Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the European crossover webinar. And we are seeing crude finally trying to break here, well, at least move higher. We had seen a fake and then a comeback, and then we really tested the stops on both sides. Look at this, as people got whacked on both sides. The key thing I will say is that if you look here, it held the VWAP off of the highs. I've got a volume weighted average price from the highs. If you look here, once we got above here, although it didn't follow through up here, we kept defending the VWAP. Even yesterday, we just kept defending the VWAP. So it opened the door for them to move higher. Also, think of it this way: anyone that's short, they're going into Friday thinking, "Well, I got to go and cover," and this thing, they may even feel like, you know what, this thing's going to be held up because. Technically, I mean, not technically, but with Jackson Hole, it looks like it's risk on. People gonna be, I'm gonna have to get out of my shorts, whatever. This is providing that extra little bit here. Although they tested both sides, so longs got kind of whacked and shorts sometimes jumped in too late. They got whacked. So path of least resistance right now is to the upside. So we're pushing that upside. And let me take a look at FX. So Euro's trading pretty quiet here. We haven't really moved at all. A bit surprised we haven't seen a little bit more of a move, but they're just very stagnant here. With the euro cable, same thing, just not quite as stagnant as the euro. Aussie, same thing here. Only one is dollar yen's kind of pushing a little bit higher, but remember we've had that 10.22, and that's kind of kept this market in check. Yeah, even yesterday we got up to 10.24, 20.23. It looks like. No, actually 10.22, and I think that was our bias chart resistance. We'll double check. It kind of paired back, but same thing, very, very tight. Cash dollar index, not much of a change. We did get German import price index that came out 2 hours ago, was up 2.2%. They're looking for a forecast of just only up to 0.8, and previously it was up 1.6. So decent little move there. French consumer confidence came in at 99. Previous was 100. Also Italian confidence. Their data is always late. It's actually supposed to be out just moments ago, and it hasn't come out. But that's usual for the Italian data. It's always late. And then that's it until we get into the States. 8:30 Eastern, we'll have core PCE and good trades balances and personal income and spending. Those at 8:30 Eastern. And Canadian data, IPPI. And then, of course, Jackson Hole Symposium starts at 9 a.m. Eastern. Powell will be speaking at 10 a.m. Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern. Michigan consumer expectations, that's going to be the finalized numbers. But obviously, what's going to be more present is when Powell speaks. So we'll see how that plays out. Most people would expect them to be dovish. You can see here on NASDAQ, we talked about this yesterday. We could probably maybe test some stops here for this range. They did, and I think some people got faked into thinking that it was, when it came back, oh, now it's going to break, and they thought we were going to push lower, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It would be breaking ahead of Powell, and I'm talking about in the late afternoon. I think they thought they were going to keep on going further lower, and we bounced right back into the range. Looking at gold, a little bit of bounce back from gold. Then held those low 80s. I thought they might be able to dip a little bit further. Seeing that bounce back, I think we had 1802 as our resistance, and we did make it all the way back up to 1808. We're at 1801 right now. And I mentioned crude kind of pushing these stops higher. As people really, I think it's more about people getting shorts getting stopped now, just the same way that longs were getting stopped in the New York Open yesterday, early New York session. Well, just might as well go and get started on the analysis. But honestly, I don't think there is any analysis to speak of because we didn't even move. So take a look at FX. We had 1728, 1783. Obviously, depending on what Powell says, we might see a bigger move, but you got to think that he's going to stay dovish. So it opens the door for us to move higher. 1783 was our area. If we push a little bit higher because of risk on, it's going to be right there, 1794. Support, I don't really see Powell being suggest anything around taper. Although people thought that from the economic figures we had last month, I said that's not going to happen. That was on the employment. I go, it's just not going to happen at this time. Although I don't know why people thought it was going to happen. And that's, no one expects the same thing, mention anything about tape or anything like that. So 1707, moving on to the cable. On the upside, see this lower wick here? That puts us at 37.85. So let's go with that. On the lower side, I just don't see it dropping down like that. It doesn't even make any sense. That would be the risk, though, but I just don't see it. Be 36.61. Moving into the Aussie dollar. If we were to pop up on risk on, $73.23. About 73.25. Support. Be right there, 72 even. Dollar yen, 10.22. I don't see any reason to change that. There's my 10.22. If we were to push higher, once again, it doesn't mean we can't get up there, but that's still the resistance there. No changes there. Here on dollar yen. Moving on to the cash dollar index. $93.34. Same thing here. No changes here. No changes. I mean, the real resistance comes up here at 56, but once again, there's no reason necessarily it's going to run all the way up in here. I mean, the real resistance comes in right there, 93.34. Take a look at Bitcoin. Well, you can see where they went to. We had 46,412, and that's exactly where they went to. See that? Yes, we did just a hair below it, and it's holding right there. No changes. Maybe we'll try and see this kind of bounce back up a little bit. 467,854. Once again, no changes here. We'll move into the S&Ps. We had 4503. The only difference was we're moving to 4505. Maybe if he's real dovish, we can kind of take off, but that'll be it. I mean, I'm saying is we goose some stops. Unless this thing tries to rip up, he's pretty dovish. We can give to 4520. So we'll go 4505, 20. Support, well, we had 4466 yesterday. And they actually got as low as 44.62 $1/4. That's pretty close though, considering where we're at the time. So support, if we came undone, let's go 44.55. NASDAQ. We already discussed that. There it is, 15,445. No change. We had 15,271. Let's see. And the low yesterday was 15,255. Relatively close. Relatively close. Only up by 15 handles. 15,226. I just don't see him being dovish. Anything to suggest it's going to yank us down here. There's some resistance right actually right there. There's a level, which that got us to that 52. If it starts to sell off, and here's one right there, 15,193. I ought to have these marked off in case all of a sudden it started to come apart. I just don't see it. But you got to be prepared. right there. If we're to break lower here, I just don't see it. 15,225. And gold, we did make it up to 1808. I was a bit surprised to that would make it back. I thought we'd dip a little bit lower. We did make it back up. I guess you have to factor in that in case Powell's dovish, it opens the door for them to move higher. We'll go with back revisit of 1812. Support 1782. And moving on to crude. Like I said, until we get some news, there's just these markets aren't really going anywhere. So there isn't a whole lot to hang your hat on. We finally kind of made this push up in here, opens the door. Finally, they try to push higher, and they fell on their face. They try to push higher, they fell on their face again. Came back here, and we're trying to push up a little bit higher. I think this is more about some people just getting stopped out that thought it was going to fall now and thinking, okay, this is finally it. And we're not taking off or zooming at this point, but resistance coming across here, probably right there. It's actually $68.99. Just call it $69. And support, well, you can see how this thing's been all over the place, stopping people out left and right. We'll go with 67.54. There we go. Just don't see anything for right now while we have Jackson Hole. So to dig into where any particular level comes in, and I'm saying as far as the profile, don't really see anything here to go in and pull off of that. I think we're just kind of sitting here until after Powell speaks. Most expect him to be rather dovish. And the key thing I guess we're going to see is, do we come up here and blast some stops on the way up here to challenge 1545? And do we stay there and then open up Sunday evening at these highs and then fade back? Or do we wait and it goes a little bit higher But like I said, right now, we're just stuck. We're just plain stuck for now. And we'll just see how these markets want to react after Powell's spoken. They're certainly holding up well, and I don't think people would be too smart trying to fade this thing, although they did yesterday, but the thing has come right back in their face. It's come right back into the range. So there's the bias chart for today. We'll go and get that posted, and we'll have to just wait until after Jackson Hole. And then with these indices, we have to just wait until price breaks one way or the other and see how it holds. So we'll get that posted. We'll see you in the chat room. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar.